My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
And that's a cat. How's it going, gang? Welcome back to Omni X-Men. This is the New Mutants show. We are doing new Mutants. The Chris Claremont omnibus fun continues, but we've transitioned over to his New Mutants series. We're on volume number 1, and we are diving deep tonight because we're getting issues 1 and 2 with this guy. What is going on, Logan? Fathead Logan. What's going on, buddy?
Who you calling fat, bub? Bub.
It's all those Canadian donuts.
I was looking for my dog since you had the cat. I was like, oh, maybe I could like turn my computer around real quick.
I'm just trying to give the people what they want. Pets, animals, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Way more adorable than this bearded fool.
He's an animal, you know? He's an animal.
He is.
Kind of works.
I watched a video today about how Hugh Jackman thought that Wolverine was based on a wolf, and he practiced all this wolf like physicality for his performance, only to be told by the director that's not a thing. Wolverines are an actual other animal. You had to learn no different animal.
That's what
throw that all out, start all over.
brutal. Hey, we all make mistakes, right?
How you doing, sir? Good to see you.
I'm doing great, man. Excited for another a Tuesday talking X-Men, or in this case, New Mutants, as you say. Yeah.
And she's in this Omni X-Men. So it's Magic.
Oh, and yes, and I saw a ton of Magic cosplay this weekend over at New York Comic Con. So
those people with the huge swords are friggin' amazing.
So cool. The big boots and then everything in the hair and everything. Then the sword, it looked really cool. So definitely growing popularity. I feel like for the cosplayers.
Absolutely.
Doing Magic. So
absolutely. And tonight, for the show, we got a superstar guest, one of the people that is OG to this show, one of the people that has been with us. He's been giving stuff away as part of this show. He's in the chat as part of the show. He's just an absolute beast. Of course, it's the Jedi Knight himself. This guy.
The boys, good to see you.
Good to see you,
back.
sir. Yeah. Absolutely. And one of the few people in this community always pushing for men's health, mental health, physical health, trying to get us to exercise a little bit, trying to get us to stop eating pizza and drinking alcohol.
Hey, why'd you point at me? Why'd you point at me with pizza?
This guy trying to get this.
Gee, I wonder why.
I love my pizza.
I'm a huge respecter of Chet trying to make our community healthy. It's a lot of men in this community and trying to remind us all to be a little healthier while we enjoy our comics and such.
That's right.
So
it's all about looking like the part you're reading.
yeah.
That's not realistic. Let's
at
least be real. I just want to be someone that Storm would walk by and not completely ignore. That's all I want. I want her to be like, oh, hey, how's it going, Joe? That's all I need. I just want the glance. That's all I need. I don't need anything more than that. Let's jump in the chat. Let's say hello to some friends because we got early tailgaters like my man, Las Cruces, who was in here almost 12 hours ago. Tailgate.
Wow.
And then he came back a few hours later.
Oh, nice.
And then he came back 2 hours ago.
He said,
so this guy, he was waiting for this show.
Love it.
Dedication.
We got Ruben Guzman in the chat. Ruben is a local area homie. I went comic collecting with him not too long ago. We did some hunting together. Good to see you, Ruben.
Nice.
Big Ruben.
Another gentleman in this area I went hunting with. What's up, Adam? Make stuff up. What's going on? New and old mutants. No age discrimination.
Yes, that's right. That's right, Adam.
And look, Las Cruces has the notification bell clicked because he's back here at 6 tonight, my time. So I appreciate that.
Nice.
Hello from Massachusetts. We got Tony, the old wolf.
Old wolf.
We got Matt in Clemson. What's going on, Matt?
Hey,
South Carolina, checking in.
Nice.
Our great friend Candace Barbosa. What's going on, Candace? Lego extraordinaire.
That's right.
I got some Lego builds ready, Candace. We need to do another Lego stream soon.
She stopped my streak.
We do.
Uh-oh.
No, Candace, she stopped my streak, my winning streak.
Oh, yes. She did upset your winning streak. That is true.
Yeah.
And she extracted books from me.
Sorry that we ran a little late, Adam. We were doing some tech checks backstage and just having a laugh, as you know, we would want to do.
It's true.
Jackson Roy Kirk, another OG homie, always supporting the show. Jackson, we got to get you on this show. How do we get Jackson Roy Kirk on this show?
That's a good point.
A Cyclops uniform and leave it in the chair.
We got 4 openings in the new year, Jackson. If you're interested, you don't need to be on camera. If you just want to do a logo, if you just want to talk, We would love to have
you be just a voice if you don't want to.
Yeah, super knowledgeable homie in this community, Jackson. Paul the Big O, what is he? How you doing, Paul? Happy Tuesday to you. I'll be a little distracted. John knows why. What did I do? Sorry, did I miss something? Wolverine, too many sandwiches. He's also distracted.
Tony's putting answers in already.
Running late. It took that long to get the cat to sit still. I mean, she tends to come in here when I record stuff, but she always likes to keep the chair empty. Just GQ in the chat. What's going on, GQ? Good to see you.
Yo.
JP got a Golden Age slab, a part of his 50 comics he's trying to get in 2024. A beautiful sci-fi Golden Age book. You got to check out his latest unboxing. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Let's see. Omni New Mutants just sounds weird. I mean, you made it weird.
Weird. It's the New Mutants edition.
New. What's up? Conlon Comics is in the chat. What's going on, Conlon? Good to see you, sir.
Stevie.
Wait, what are we doing here? There's no Cyclops in these issues. I mean, that's a win, but we'll keep moving.
Here we go.
The great legend. What is going on, Robert? Good to see you, sir.
Nice.
Good to see
That's
you.
the legend.
Lasso. Yes, Magic Lasso's over on Gary B's show doing his 10-1-1 all Wonder Woman edition because yesterday was Wonder Woman Day. So definitely support Gary and Lasso if you haven't yet, but then come back here.
Nice. Yep.
Digger Jim, he says, is this where we're all talking Wonder Woman? Get out.
Wrong show.
This crazy talk. All right, so we
like bring your own Wonder Woman.
I mean, I like Wonder Woman too. You can like all things. You know, she's right there next to Catwoman and Poison Ivy. It's underneath Storm, and it's all good. This is the Omni New Mutants season. We're doing New Mutants Volume number 1, the omnibus. We've done the graphic novel. We've done Marvel Team Up 100. We are now officially into the issues of New Mutants from Claremont and Bob McLeod early on here on art. This is going to be a very exciting omnibus with lots of new characters and lots of great learning experiences going on. But we're going to do a couple of quick random questions, rapid fire for Mr. Chet I. Knight here. Chet, I got to start you off with this comparison. Two artists really made their name during this era of New Mutants. Who made a bigger name for themselves, in your opinion? Not quality, but bigger name. Liefeld or Sienkiewicz? Who came out of New Mutants with the bigger name? Such a tough question.
Good question.
As much as I'd like to discredit Rob Liefeld, it's mostly his artwork that, basically lives on in the book today. I mean, that's what everybody focuses on more than anything. I love Sienkiewicz, that, but this is Liefeld.
Even Spike Lee was making commercials with the guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little over the top as far as I'm concerned, but to me, it was Rob Liefeld's brainchild, so to speak, in terms of the art. It wasn't always perfect. It always had feet that looked like an additional portion of a limb. and we've never seen implants like Captain America's ever before. So
I'm working on it.
So as bad as it's been, it's still his. I still think it's his elephant to claim.
I think it's fair. I'll give Sienkiewicz Moon Knight instead.
Yeah, definitely give that to Sienkiewicz.
Team leaders, are you choosing Xavier or Cable when it comes to the New Mutant Squad?
I'm going Cable.
There it is.
I'm going Cable.
I love
a lot more risk reward involved, if you ask me.
And pouches, which are very
and pouches. Yeah, absolutely.
Plenty of pouches.
All right, last one. Favorite New Mutant character at any point? That New Mutant who is not the leaders, not the Cables, like the squad. Who is the favorite New Mutant for you?
Damn you boys, I hate you. You guys put me on the spot.
That's the whole point. We're trying to get some deep thoughts out of Chet.
So it's definitely got to be between.
It's really.
I was going to say Cannonball and Sunspot, but I'm going to go with Mirage and Sunspot. because
my boy got taken out. Okay.
I love Sam Guthrie and everything, but I don't know. Mirage's power set gets me, and I like Sam's the way his power evolved over time.
Yeah.
So
And
I have to go with it.
Roboido. I get it. Well, thank you, Chet. I appreciate that, sir.
Those are the easiest questions you've ever given me.
Well, Doomhammer here, he's saying, ask him about Aquaman. That's not good. That's not good. We got Wiki Wayne in the chat. What's going on?
Doomhammer is a friend of mine, and he absolutely despises Aquaman.
I like him more already. There's
a new Aquaman coming out, and I sent him a text message with all that, and he literally just sent me back 3 laughing faces, like he didn't give 2 craps about it. And that's him.
That's an acceptable response.
Yeah.
And that's Jorge, by the way.
Hola, Jorge. What's going on, man?
Right.
And Wicane, what's going on? Good to see you in the chat. And we got Jeff. What's going on, Jeff? How you doing, sir?
He says, Danny, I like it.
And let's see. Some great comments about Liefeld versus Sienkiewicz. I love it in the chat. But we're going to dive right in because we're doing 2 issues tonight, folks. We're doing issues 1 and 2 of the New Mutants run. Like I said, this is art by Bob McLeod, that great journeyman Marvel homeboy who did a ton of great work. Chet with is that a triple sign? How many signatures on this book, Chet?
Very nice.
Is that 3 signatures? I know McLeod and Claremont. Who else we got?
Hold on, it's Dan and Chris Claremont.
Oh,
so
there you go.
There's Claremont on the title, and Stan is where's Stan? In black next to Roberto.
Where's the Bob McLeod love? No Bob McLeod love?
I bought it this way. Bob is going to end up on here.
There you go.
I had a 9-4 with McLeod and Claremont that I gave to a friend of ours named Brandon a while back when I got this.
That bum. All right, whatever. These books, for those that don't know, they have the cover date of March and April of '83, which means they probably came out at the very beginning of 1983. The release date versus the cover date is a little different. But let's talk about these covers, gentlemen. We'll do both covers at the same time. Justin, obviously, a lot of action, a lot of vibrant color work going on here. What are your thoughts on these 2 covers?
Yeah, so I really like both of these covers. I think, obviously, issue number 1 being just iconic when it comes to these characters and recognizing, where they started. I know we talked about the graphic novel being very much iconic as well, but this certainly is right up there with it. So love that. I also like that it ties in very accurately to the story, kind of getting, the team getting called upon by Professor X, him in his head floating there shouting, I think that's done really well. And then for issue 2, I think I like this cover even more. I love I don't know if it's just the colors or obviously you have these, the big, not pink and purple robots in this case, but, bluish, greenish, turquoise.
So disappointing, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
A little bit of a different color. I took that as like shadow, if I didn't know what was going on with this, but for the Sentinels, but yeah, seeing Cannonball going flying through there already. And I think it's just like, the blue on the red. I don't know what it is about it, but I really, really, I have an issue of this somewhere, and putting it behind Mylar, like it really pops. It's really nice design. So I don't know, that one stands out to me. So for me, definitely would like to, or I think it's worth owning both of these, even just for the cover alone. So
for sure. Yeah. Lots. And to your point, I love the primary colors, the blue, the red, the yellow. There's a lot of great color popping going on here. Yeah. Chet, what are your thoughts on issues 1 and 2, these covers, these Bob McLeod pieces?
All right. So I missed last weekend. I ended up watching the replay. I got to admit that cover for the graphic novel 4 is really, really good. It's like, boom, it pops because you don't know who anybody is yet and everything. But now that we know who they are, it's good to see them like elevate onto a cover looking like an X-Men team,
Right.
You got Charles there, and then you got the rest of the group springing into action. I like the dark background of it. Everything, it's cohesive. It's nice. It all blends in well together. The second book, which I didn't show you, but I'll show it to you anyway. A lot of red and stuff like that. This one's McLeod and Claremont.
Beauty.
Love it.
You can see, yeah, McLeod is at the bottom right there in front of Karma.
Yeah, I like his signature too, Bob.
Now, what Justin said was the Sentinels look kind of wild in front of that red background. I think that's what's making it pay off for me. I like that.
Sure.
Yeah. The Sentinels look a little bit, I guess it might be a sign of the times, the way they drew these Sentinels or whatever model number they may be. But I think they look a little bit more mature in terms of look. So I'll just say that turn of the decade, Sentinels got an upgrade or got some armor all from the Trask Company.
Sure.
So yeah, I like these covers. I mean, as far as the art goes, I mean, I give it to Bob McLeod. I like him a lot. He's a good person as well, and he's a
got
good
that great
artist.
journeyman Marvel style that just really he's able to do the work and do it well.
Yeah,
absolutely. JP's in the chat. He says Xavier just somewhere safe, mentally shouting at kids and putting them in danger. Sounds about right. There you go.
That sounds about right.
Jackson says he loves the #1 cover. Jeff makes the comment about inking, which we definitely have highlighted a lot over the years of this show, that the people doing the inking don't ever get the praise that they deserve. In this case, we're talking about Mike Gustovich, who was doing the inking over McLeod on these early issues. So thank you, Jeff, for shouting that out. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was just going back and forth looking at just the differences between the graphic novel versus, you know, getting into issue 1 here. And like, I was like, why? I was like, they're both Bob McLeod, but like one looks way different than the other still.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing, I think a lot of it has to do with the inking. I am not, I like the more like these 2 issues that we're about to get into. I like this more than what we saw in the graphic novel.
And also with the graphic novels, the way they were doing the color work with those different page qualities, they were trying for a different kind of look for the Marvel graphic novels. So that was a very non-traditional Marvel comic look. So I think the color work played a lot in that as well.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
We got Sleepy Reader Damien in the chat. What's going on, Damien? How you doing, sir? I know he was over on Gary B's in the chat over there for our man Magic Lasso. Appreciate that. He said in France, Wolfsbane was weirdly renamed Felina, and Cannonball became Rocket, and Sunspot became Solar. I love that kind of stuff. That stuff's cool. What's up, TK? TK's Bad Cave. What's going on? Discord homie. I've been hanging out with him over on Jigs Kingdom's Discord every once in a while. It's good to see him, man. And Magic Lasso didn't make it in time. He was over there. If you missed his 10-1-1 on the Gary B channel, you guys need to check that out. But we're going to keep on rolling because we are into issue #1. Got the splash page of the excitement of Hair Day. We are washing hair, the New Mutants in their new home, hanging out in the mansion. And what are they doing? They are making sure that Jean, the character of Karma, who we saw in the Marvel team up and the graphic novel, is getting taken care of. She's getting a new cut, getting styled. And who is styling her but our awesome friend from back in the day, Stevie Hunter, the ballerina, the dance instructor, who now is full-time Xavier teacher and basically I don't know, like dorm master of this section of the New Mutants. So she is a big
Garrett.
Right? She's a big part of kind of managing all these young teenagers in the school, these new teens, and they run them down there. We've got Cannonball, Sam Guthrie. We've got Sunspot, Roberto Costa. We got Danny Moonstar, whose name has been Psyche at different times here. We got Wolfsbane, Rain Sinclair, and we got Jean, who is Karma. And they're all just sort of hanging out together because it's an exciting moment, right? New haircut for one of them. And everybody's enjoying and giggling, and there's a nice camaraderie kind of happening here. Roberto even compliments Rain, who says, my hair doesn't really grow very quickly. And he's like, no, you look beautiful. He kisses her hand, and there's this kind of fun flirting going on. And everybody's like, whoa, is this guy a playboy? I don't know what's going on. Danny gets in on this, but loses control of her ability. And for those that don't know, she sort of does these projections. And in this case, she pulls memories right out of Jean's mind and then recreates these sort of traumatic moments from her past. In this case, it was when pirates basically captured her and her parents when they were little and did despicable things to her mother. This is a very traumatic moment from poor Karma's past. And to see it displayed for the whole class, this obviously creates a lot of tension right off the bat. But Justin, let's get into your thoughts as we dive into these teens, these kids at school. What are some of your thoughts as we jumped into Hair Day?
Yeah, so oddly enough, this is like some of the fun stuff that I really like and appreciate that Chris Claremont takes the time to tell these little parts of the story, very much like X-Men when we see them playing baseball or out at Rockefeller Center, ice skating, things of that nature. So just the team goofing around, you know that they're still very new to each other. So we need this. We need a little bit of the team laughing together and giggling and learning all at the same time. So it's still very new to all of them, but it's nice to see them kind of in action. And I love that Stevie Hunter came back for this, that she's a big part of this as well. So I was excited to see her. I agree with you, Candace. And then, Berto, I mean, I know he's like this flirt, or he's known to be this flirt throughout time of comic books, but like he's 13 years old. He's
a wealthy Brazilian. Like, what do you expect?
Isn't Rain also like 13 at this point? Like I think the two of them are like the youngest.
They're supposed to all be about the same age, basically. Yeah.
But like, I'm just kind of laughing. Like, yeah, he's kissing her hand, and she's like, she's never been around something like this, so she's just like, like not sure how to feel, which
exactly.
So that, funny introductions. Also, like, then it immediately gets like dark again because we get that, like you said, kind of pulled out. Shan showing her visions of what she fears, and we're quickly reminded. And I do like that they take the time to do this, but we're quickly reminded about her past and really how dark and serious it was. In the grand scheme of things. So I like this overall setting though, how this all kicks off.
Totally. Candace was saying she's excited to see more Stevie. I'm definitely happy about that as well. Big O says she's the dorm room mom. That's a great description for her. I like that a lot. And Stevie's a great character, underappreciated X-related character who doesn't get a lot of love for sure. Jackson Roy Kirk says he thinks that McLeod does great facial expressions, and this is on display here. Absolutely. Totally agree with that. The whole team went so much into their past, and I think that's constantly being brought up is the weighty backstory that kind of each one of them has. Adam making the joke, welcome to the washroom. Hope you survived the experience, Stevie. Yeah, very funny. I've had a lot of experience with Brazilians, and they're incredibly painful. Physically and emotionally. Chet, it really dives deep right here at the beginning with these emotional moments. But the thing that took me aback was seeing the pirates that attacked their family displayed as like troll ogre monster things. Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, pirates. I'm thinking like Johnny Depp or whatever. Like, you picture your pirate the way Captain Phillips, the way you want to picture them, right? I'm the captain now. But that's a little different. That's like a D&D character over there that seems to be attacking the mom.
I think what she's getting here is what she thinks of those people who did that to her mother. Right. So whatever nightmare it's going to be, that's the nightmare she has when she's thinking of it, and Danny is actually making it, just come out. So
because it's not a manifestation of reality, right? It's perception of reality.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And a little kid experiencing the trauma of that is going to create a monster, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's really cool. And they never explain it. They never comment on it.
Yeah, they leave it up to you to test your aptitude in terms of creativity and just, what's on the page. Because we know that Planet of the Apes didn't have a crossover with the New Mutants when this took place. So
it's not Lord of the Rings. There's no like one ring that they're all going to carry to Mordor or something here.
It absolutely left up to the reader at that point, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, so cool. Candace says maybe it's metaphorical. It's definitely totally agree. Eric, what's going on in the chat side quest? What's going on, sir? Good to see you. She manifested an image of the worst fears, which I think is really cool. Absolutely. And Chet, any thoughts here on this page, or should you want me to roll through to the next one for you?
Yeah, you can roll through. Man. We're good here.
Because obviously
I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah. We get some dramatic moments here where Jean attacks Danny, tackles her, and is just furious for her dirty laundry to be spread among her new friends. Meanwhile, Roberto's like, "Don't you touch my girl," and just slaps her across the face. Now everybody's mad. Tears are flowing. People are emotional. Kids are running all around the school, and everybody's left kind of like a little frustrated. Even Sam is like, "Hey, Roberto, give Danny her space. She's a little upset. Sometimes people, I've got sisters. I know sometimes you got to give them their space to get over what they're dealing with." And Even Stevie's like, I don't know how to handle all these emotions. There's a lot of like, pheromones floating around this room. It's a little intense. Danny decides, I need space. I'm going to explore the school. She quickly starts just diving right into like Kitty Pryde's room where she's got awkward photos with Colossus. She finds Storm's garden, which is underwatered right now. The plants are kind of dying. So she goes through and starts gardening, starts watering. Because if you don't know, at this point, the team is in the far reaches of space in the Brood saga. So a lot of that, first binary and stuff like that, it's all happening in the far reaches of space. Xavier believing the team is dead, and we will get a little thing on Xavier towards the end of this storyline as well. But in the meantime, these rooms are left empty, and Danny is sort of caretaking for Storm stuff here. I really enjoyed some of this. Chet was there. What were your thoughts on new team and old team in the same space at this point, basically?
I think it works. It's the same school. Everybody's, got to go through their mutant training and everything. But just to rewind a little bit in regards to the action that took place, all that happened in a New York minute. Everything was peaceful and calm, and then suddenly it wasn't. Now you got a separated bunch, and everybody's looking for answers. I don't mind that Danny's strolling around and anything, but I don't know if Storm would have appreciated her going in the room, and you know what I mean. But it's one big house. She's exploring. She's not from there, so she's going to look and get as much as she can. And
she's watering the plants for Storm. Storm's got to appreciate that, at least the water, right?
It's not naked watering like we're used to, but it works.
It works.
Disappointing, but we'll deal with nudity later.
But I have no problem with her learning the layout, so to speak.
Yeah, right. It's a big that's a big mansion. It's a lot to explore. Justin, what are your thoughts on the drama in the team and the way in which they're kind of getting along together?
Yeah, so like definitely over the top. Was not expecting Roberto to just go smacking Shan there, but I was a little like, oh, okay, that's a way to handle things, I guess. And then but what's interesting is there's this moment where Shan is like, how angry she is, those tears, that one scene where a close-up of her face, and she's like legit throwing out these threats that are like deadly. And even Roberto, like a few panels down further in the middle, still there, he's like telling Sam, like, hey, I'm not worried about Danny, it's Shan I'm worried about. Did you hear, like, did anyone hear the threats she was saying? Because that was a little like, again, for teenagers and just the anger that came out, it's like, ooh, like maybe we need to tap into, like, seeing what kind of roads that go down, or her mind, where her mind goes, because
totally
it was a little, a little dark, a little quick.
Therapist.
Yes. Well, yeah. Oh, for sure. I think they all do to some different degree. They're all,
that's a serious threat she put out there.
Yes. Yeah. So that was like a very serious moment for kind of what had just happened. The other thing, who was it? Eric Sidequest says it's a good nod to remind the readers. I totally agree. Talking about the plants, I loved seeing her go through the hallways, go seeing the other rooms of the other members to remind us of, like, it just brought me back. I'm just like, like, this is where Storm was like, this is where they all grew up. This is where, or not grew up, where they lived, and where, she's taking, we just saw her taking care of her plants like a season ago, like to me, like, this is like also still very relevant. So I thought it was a good way, again, for anybody who has been putting time and effort into reading the Claremont X-Men stuff, to a little payoff, in that regard, to just reminding you you're in the same room, same building, same mansion, all that other stuff. So,
and for those that don't know, the last season's omnibus of Uncanny and this volume of New Mutants, they run kind of concurrently, and what we're going to end up is this New Mutant omnibus is going to outpace where we left off in Uncanny just a bit. So when we finish this omnibus, we'll be a little bit ahead. We're a little behind right now. We're going to pass and go a little ahead, and they kind of run concurrently. Volume 4 of Uncanny and Volume 1 of New Mutants overlap, and that's what we're getting into. That's partly why we chose to do this volume now, is the way that it connects like that.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Candace says it's crazy. Here we are. New Mutants is where I started with you guys in X-Men. That's fantastic.
That's right.
Dude, It's 30 minutes in, and now we're on 6 pages. Get out of here. Stop critiquing me already.
Brutal, JP. Brutal.
Yeah, Sam does have a passel of sisters, and as far as I know, none of them were mutants. He may be the only outlying one.
Oh, interesting.
I thought recently I read that one was.
Oh, was it?
I believe so.
We're going to be doing a lot of 2-issue episodes. Yes, so that is definitely true. Be ready for some of that.
Yeah.
You should see how I water plants. Ryan, I don't know. I don't want to know. Birdo is a brat. You know, there's an entitlement element to him for sure.
Yep.
Colossus has some big hands in that photo.
I'm saying he got one hand around her waist.
He's definitely hoisting her up. But let's continue on. We get a cameo from my girl Magic here. She is with Moira on a trip because they got a call from a very chain smoking nervous mom wanting to talk a little bit about the issues she's having in London with her son. Spoiler, as she says at the end, the kid is Xavier's son.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is a big moment here because those that have seen the television show Legion or those that have read comics in the future know this is our first glance at the love child of Charles Xavier. But yes, hinted at, teased right here. But then we jump back to school. Xavier's called them all back in. He's like, hey, just so you know, learning math, learning reading, all great. I also have a room where I try to kill you on a regular basis, called the danger room. I sort of throw you guys in. It looks all beautiful. I can make, parallel rings, parallel bars. I can show you a pommel horse or a giant jungle at the edge of the universe with monsters try to kill you. Lots of options. Lots of options. I can do whatever I want. He says, very easy to control it, but only do this with an adult. Me, Stevie, or one of your other instructors is fine. Not by yourself. This is not a toy. It's not the holodeck. This is not Star Trek. You don't get to play around with this. But yeah, we already know. Oh, this is going to be shenanigans because this is a holodeck danger room issue, right? So Justin, what do you want to talk about? Baby Legion or the danger room? Where do you want to go with this, buddy?
So yeah, like the whole thing with Legion. I don't have a lot of experience with this with him. I don't know much about Legion or how it works or how he works, other than just some side stories from the more recent Hickman stuff, which even that I was detached from because I didn't fully understand some of that.
Sure.
So to read this is exciting for me because it's new and I really don't know. I know he has a son, but that's really it. And
right.
I don't know anything else to it. So I'm like, ooh, we're getting kind of into that. And that's cool that this is how it's introduced. I didn't know that, and that Moira was visiting the mother and all this other stuff. And so yeah, like a really cool way. We know Claremont likes to sprinkle these little seeds, throughout all these
right.
episodes. Who knows, how many episodes or issues we're going to get to, so we pick up where that left off. But I got excited just to kind of, see that moment. So that was cool. The little surprise. The other thing was, what was it? Oh, I don't know if, I think I missed the one part.
I did take out panels or pages from here or there just to try to streamline this a little bit to make JP happier that we're on time.
I wanted to make sure I didn't jump ahead. No, but no, there was actually it's on this page, so this works out. But Danny is very nervous because she feels that she was caught by Professor X in the rooms of the X-Men.
Yes, he calls her psychically out of Storm's bedroom and feels like, yeah, Danny is now like judged for invading privacy.
Yes, and so when he speaks to them, he kind of says, he tells everybody, please respect their stuff. In her mind, she's like, but I know he's talking to me. Like, and I just love this because even I was gonna say as kids, but even now, like you just kind of can think like that, right? So I feel like it's very relatable. Just like where these kids are mentally and taking all this stuff in, and then also being worried because of, they're not used to a guy who has powers such as Professor X, who could kind of know exactly where you are at all times, and and all this stuff. And he has like a little bit of an honor system of his own that they don't know about yet. But but I could understand that, that she's like a little, but I can understand her being a little, like, oh crap, like he probably watched my every step and this, stuff. So I like that aspect of it. And then just like how crisp the coloring is in these darker blue and turquoise backgrounds that they have as they're showing, because I think it's just how the lighting is supposed to represent on their faces and the yellow, on their suits and everything, which is really cool as they're looking into the glass, to see the room and everything.
Totally.
So, love the artwork.
Chet, any thoughts here on early David Haller? Even though we don't see David in any of this, we instead get Mom.
I actually remember reading that, and I was harping on the fact that Xavier had a son, so I was dying to see when he was going to get in and everything. Took him a while. I think it was issue 26.
It's a while.
Yeah, that's his first with the big the Vanilla Ice dude.
With that hair, yeah.
Kid
and play.
At first, I was more like, "Is this is just somebody's rumor or something?" But ultimately, it's Claremont. So, like you said, he sprinkles his seeds everywhere, and then you actually get something as a story growing into it. So
2 years later, we'll finally meet the kid.
Wow, crazy!
Only 2 years, and in this case with the team, I like the Danger Room sequence thing, because normally when we got introduced to the Danger Room with the X-Men team, the Uncanny team, they just jumped right in and seemed to just flow right with it. These kids are getting thumped up, from lack of know-how on their own powers. So you can see the vast difference. They actually have to grow into their powers. So the other X-Men seem to have their powers under good control for the most part to enter a Danger Room. These kids don't, so you get to see the novice area of
absolutely.
X, I like that a lot.
Which takes us right in, because the monster attacks and they're like, oh crap. And I love that Sam's already into like leadership mode. I gotta start giving guidance to some of these guys, and then it's like, nope, sorry, it's just to pretend. I'm just dicking with you, as Xavier likes to do. Now I'm gonna throw you guys all into this thing, and starts running them through a simple program in the Danger Room, a classic exercise. Can you get from one corner of the room to the other and get out? Can you cross the room? Can you just cross the room? And obviously this is designed as Xavier wants to try to push them to not only their abilities, but know what they can do just without their powers. Like, how can you manage yourself, right? And so Sam tries to go through, and there's like walls that appear that he crashes into, and he's like, well, at least my powers protect me when I'm blasting. I can't really get hurt. And so he's going around it. Then there's a vacuum and it sucks him up. And he's like, well, darn it, that I can't do any of this stuff. Rain tries to run through. Has difficulty manifesting between full wolf and her human form. And so she's like half in, half out, struggling as panels evaporate below her, and she's got to jump and try to climb, and the difficulties of all of this. So it's really like semi-humiliating as they try to navigate some of this. So Chet, what are your thoughts on Xavier as Danger Room coach here?
He's pretty vague and ambiguous about what to do, right?
Right.
Just go through it, and and he's like, let's go. Who's first? And of course, Cannonball doesn't have a good time. I think he also finds out, Cannonball, is it this issue he finds out he can't turn?
No, I don't think does it. Did he do?
We
it
get
this
to
one?
that eventually.
Oh, I think
he definitely doesn't do it in this
because
one.
he can't get over this wall. That's I
Trust
actually
me.
thought about that he couldn't turn. So I thought this was like part of that.
There's another issue coming. I think it might actually be the second issue. I don't remember. I haven't read these in so long, but there's something he has a hard time being able to actually turn.
He says
at some point he only
going over the wall. He says, I got speed and power to spare, but I can't turn worth beans and stop lessons.
There it is.
Yeah, so it's where his legs where all the power, where all the smoke is coming from his legs.
Got it.
Yeah.
And there's another issue as well where he he's saying, "Oh damn, I'm not going to be able to turn. I just have to rely on this wall to stop me." So he's not able to do good turns yet. So we actually get to grow with Sam Guthrie as he goes through his growing pains with his own powers, and I love
for
that.
sure.
Now,
Yeah,
Rain on the other
and that's
hand,
true. I think it's true of all of them at some point or another.
yeah, Rain's power. I mean, all she can do is turn into a wolf. In a danger room, she has to rely on her own agility and so forth to survive. So I think that's pretty good that they left that up to her. Sunspot, obviously, he's just a test of power. So they throw something at him that might trick him. I mean, it's what is that, like a giant eraser?
I can jump ahead if you want to do some of that.
Yeah,
go ahead. Because Sunspot, he basically gets like this big smushy ball that doesn't, he can't punch. Yeah, every time he hits it, it just kind of absorbs him. Yeah. And then Jean is kind of like, well, my power doesn't really serve a good function in here. And so Xavier has like teammates attack her. So then she controls Sam and crashes him into Roberto. And then Rain starts jumping on her and licking her like a lost puppy, all of which causes Danny to be like traumatized to the point where she's like, this is too scary for me. I can't do this. And she just kind of runs off. Yep. What were your thoughts here, Chad? I didn't want to cut you.
No, it's no problem. I mean, her thoughts, I mean, she's already implicated in the whole thing from the beginning. She's probably still really nervous about the whole Jean thing. So, and then of course being busted by Professor X, and then now she just wants to get away. So where's she gonna go? I mean, she goes away for a couple of minutes, but obviously, she's part of the team. Eventually, she becomes a good leader. So we're just at the beginning of her growth. We get to see exactly where she's coming from with a lot of things and what she thinks, and later on, when the issues actually start to become a little more focal on her, we get a whole lot more. So I like the way that Claremont just, I guess it's like planting that one seed that's just going to grow and grow and grow right in front of us all the way through the next 100 issues. So she's a big part of it. And I like to see that we get the inside of her mind as well. So I like that a lot.
So
and
Justin,
the growth of her and Wolfsbane growing as friends.
Yeah, so. And I think that teamwork friendship thing is ongoing through these whole 100 issues of this run. Justin, what are your thoughts on this Danger Room first round for these characters?
Yeah, I mean, I love these moments, and it reminds me of Kitty Pryde when we first had met her and her first experience in the Danger Room. I think anyone, and especially as a kid reading this, I think anyone would just love to, you mentally like live with these characters and like, what would I do in this situation, or be part of it.
Right.
So I think this is like extra fun, just seeing the walkthrough for each of these characters, at least the ones that go through with it, and seeing them kind of fail or fall on their face in one way, shape, or form. I just think it's a really entertaining moment overall as our idea of these superheroes. So seeing them grow. The other thing too, obviously, just learning more about them, because again, being as new as I am, I don't quite, some of them I'm getting a more clear understanding of what they do, but I still don't know certain limits, like Chet was saying with the turning for Cannonball, things like that. And so this is a nice way to get an idea of what their weaknesses are, have an understanding, so that when I do see them in real action, obviously can know what to look for.
Absolutely.
The other thing too that I find interesting is I love that angle where it's the kids, actually the one like right here where the kids are laughing. No, you're
sorry. Yeah.
In this one panel where the kids are laughing while Roberto's getting like squeezed out by that the Michelin Man kind of dude, and
right above the frog.
Yeah, and like and I just like that like that's the angle they're seeing right now, and they each kind of got to see each other and giggle or laugh, except for Danny, who actually, now that I look at her face, I notice that she's like very concerned.
And she says the others are laughing. Why do I feel so afraid? I don't understand. The room can't really hurt me.
Yeah.
But she is emotionally feeling like the embarrassment of failing in front of these others is going to be too much for her already. Right. And it's not she just doesn't want to be seen as anything but a success, right? Yeah. She has this pressure, this burden of her ancestors. We saw with her grandfather in the graphic novel, parents that have passed away. She's carrying all this stuff.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. So I guess with all that being said, the pressure of all that, she just couldn't handle it. And that's obviously where we get, as you mentioned,
Absolutely.
her running off. So, yeah.
Jackson Ray Kirk commenting on how Moira might say, Madam Ambassador, after relieving of several concealed weapons. She's got her AK, she's got her machine guns,
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes wrong in the danger room, JP. Why do you got to be so judgy? I don't know. So just a lot of judgment coming off of you tonight. GQ says, enjoying the conversation. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe over to Justin's channel, because next week we're doing issues 3 and 4, I believe. Or is it just 3? Maybe on your channel.
3 and 4
next week. It'll be there. Xavier is a jerk. I wore that t-shirt over the weekend, and I had 2 people that I unfriended because they're like, who's Professor Xavier? And I was like, get out of my life. You're out of my life. They thought it was a political shirt or something.
Oh, goodness.
Like, come on, you know me better than that. You know. And I agree, Magic Lasso. This feels like an X-Men comic, right? They're training in that danger room. It definitely gets that feel. Chuck's teaching method is, here's a dangerous situation. Good luck.
Yep.
I feel that. I can feel that. As I recall, the room actually threw Apache out into the hallway in the Cross the Room challenge. I don't remember that. Colin says, my arch nemesis, fans. Just that vacuum sucking him up. No. But yes, this is a great point. Jan can turn Sam. He does manipulate his ability to turn him in a way he can't for himself.
Oh yeah, that's a good
She
point.
proves in the center panel there with the yellow curve like the boomerang, she's turning him. So that's fantastic. Good call. You can feel the anxiety in the Danny page, right? The facial expressions that we mentioned earlier. Great call. Good comment. Kenneth Bird, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you, sir.
Hey, Kenneth.
We're going to jump forward here as we get to team bonding a little bit here. Danny, who obviously, much like Storm before her, nature is this healing thing, right? She's gone out onto the grounds of the mansion to kind of just find a healing moment. And Rain has chased her down using her wolf senses to smell her and track her, and sits with her for a moment and talks with her a little bit about fear, about friendship, about just all the things that she's carrying both as a teenager and a mutant. And the two of them bond a little bit through this conversation about the things that they're carrying, family wise, physically wise, right? And I think there's a lot of great discussions going on between the two of them. And then, of course, they hear some horns honking, and Rain runs off because Danny doesn't want to really leave just yet. And she jumps into the car with the rest of the team because they're going for a little joy ride. And she's like, whoops, I didn't turn fast enough. I'm learning to control this. But they're all going to the mall. Let's go to the mall, gang. And they bip off as teenagers do. But apparently they're being followed by Gyrich, the villain who we know from Uncanny, who stole, or I should say, canceled Storm's abilities during the classic storyline that we read at last season, Life Death. He's got some goons in a car with really classic technology, a giant screen with the click knob turn buttons on it, and they're tailing our mutants. So lots of stuff going on here as far as espionage as well as friendship. So Justin, I'll throw it to you. I love this Rain Danny thing we're getting here. What were your thoughts on these pages here?
Yeah, so again, kind of just more of seeing the team bonding, or in this case, these two girls here, and one checking in on the other, just showing friendship and compassion and understanding to, like, hey, we're all new in there, and checking in on her, being concerned about it. And with that, we do get a little bit more of a background with Danny and her story with her parents, which I don't recall them really touching on too much of that from what we've read so far. So this was, some extra information based on like where kind of what she did with her parents, and how devastated she was to reveal these things that had happened to them, and then how they went they went off and she never saw them again. Really, really sad. And again, we're just seeing how each of these kids are carrying like a really heavy burden on them in some way, shape, or form. And we're just getting a little taste of what they're willing to share, even, which I'm sure we'll get more into detail as we go along in these books. But really great artwork on some of these panels, just some of the close-ups, as I know some of the chat has highlighted before. The little comment that Berto made to when Rain jumped on her, was that
Watch
Kinda
the claws. This is a brand new outfit. Is that the one?
kind of random. No, what he talks about.
You're in the front seat where it's safe.
Yeah.
Then again, her being full grown might have other compensation.
What? Yeah. What? I was like, really, Roberto? Like right now,
He's a constant hound. He's a hound. Even though she's the wolf, he's the hound.
Yeah. He's very much.
Right. There's some of that going on here.
And then I love the thought process, the creativity of what they thought was high tech back in the day of seeing in these vehicles,
Right?
these
A black
screens.
and white TV the size of the entire panel on the
Yeah.
front of the car there.
Yeah,
With the giant like click knobs.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah,
I love it. Some great people jumping into our chat. We got Ryan, the Colossus Collector. I want to shout out this guy's live stream series, Collector Origins, is back, yo. This is a great series. I still want him to get back to Saturdays because I love my Saturdays, but I know it's football season and that's a little more complicated. But if you did not catch
you know what, if I may, it's a little weird because when you guys started Omni X-Men, John was the guy who didn't like football so much.
I still don't.
He still doesn't.
Still don't.
Oh, damn. I thought things might have evolved like with these.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Sports ball is out.
That's why he's calling it sports ball, because he doesn't
I
know
want Justin to take it back to Saturdays so that I have
Yeah.
something better to enjoy.
Yes,
Because if you missed it last Wednesday, Colossus Collector Ryan was on with Justin, and they had a great conversation about
I'll
comics.
have to go back
collecting
and watch it because
life.
I've had an interesting past couple of weeks. I missed a lot.
No,
Please
but
do.
it's there for the rewind. I highly recommend checking it out. Two great people, and it was a great conversation.
Thanks, John.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Brian's awesome. Great guy.
And we also have Bobby Delgado. What is going on,
Bobby.
Good to see you, sir.
Hello.
He is in the chat and representing as well. Ryan's asking, does a mall babe eat cheese fries? I mean, come on. And get an orange Julius to wash it all down, my guy. That's what it's all about. I've been reading Guy Ritchie's early appearances in Avengers. What a jerk. Yeah, I'm saying jerk. I'm saying I corrected your spelling to be
It's like 181.
oh my goodness. If it's another 181 first appearance key, I'm really going to love that.
Yeah,
That's the one with all the Avengers on the cover, and he's telling them, you can't be part of the team anymore.
Oh, and that's the one when Scott Lang joins the team, right? I think
Yes.
First appearance of Scott Lang, maybe. There's
Yeah,
a government vehicles only parking space. I mean, it does look very conspicuous, I will say.
Just a little bit.
Saving a space for you in Chiefs Kingdom, John. Save it all you want, buddy. Save it all you like. Matt says, definitely check that out, Chet. It was a great view. Absolutely. Very entertaining. Yeah, how they missed that car in the bushes. It's just sitting there. Two goons with like the very boring haircuts. That one guy's got like more forehead than anything. That guy's
the
got
bright
brow.
The 5 head.
The 5 head.
Right? Yeah. He looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
Yeah.
But yeah, meanwhile, Danny's like, you know what? I know I heard the rules, but I'm just going to mess with this place called the Danger Room on my own. I'm going to go in here, zero adult supervision, giant red light background warning me. There's a fucking red light in the hall right here. Clearly, that's Xavier saying, don't go in this room alone. He's got a giant red light bulb in that hallway. She's like, nah, I'm going to go in. He said this was intuitive and easy to do. But I'm going to run it. And she runs the program. She gets all the way across the room because she has no abilities that can effectively work against robots. She's got to use her own abilities, her agility, her ability to move around in the environment. She's jumping, she's kicking, she makes it across, and she's like, yeah. And then she gets zapped by something. She's like, what was that? And we see her waking up in that scary Savage Lands environment, and the episode or issue ends. Cliffhanger.
No, we see somebody's hand.
There's somebody up in the danger room clicking the buttons. What is happening? Justin, how do you like that cliffhanger?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Great. You get so much of the payoff here where, she's like, I'm going in, I'm gonna do it myself. And she like whizzes through it. She like, scores a 100, does really, really well. And even like building up her confidence, she's like, all right, like I know, like, even though I can't, do anything with their minds because they're robots, I can't reveal fears. She's like, you learn how talented she is with her agility and her speed and movement through her, history in the woods and everything else. So like, you get to see all that. And I love that panel of like the 3 or 4 motions of her.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Through everything. Yeah,
that white one in the middle.
Yes, yeah. And so to see all that, you're just like, yeah, go Danny, like like this epic moment, and you're cheering her on, and then she completes it, and then immediately gets shot in the face. It's like, oh shoot, and then to wake up with this 3-horned
in the danger room
dinosaur, that you just what this is about, since Professor X showed it earlier. You're like, oh crap, this is not this
right.
This is the advanced stage. I got it. Yeah, no, this is a great cliffhanger. I like it.
I love it. Red means go, right? Red means go. It's like working in the photo booth where you're developing film. Red is good. It's a good thing. Chet, what were your thoughts on how this issue ends?
I like her bravado. I mean, pretty Kitty pride. Kitty went into the danger room and she pretty much did the same thing Kitty did. Whipped it out. She got it done.
Ignore the professor's rules.
Well, and with Kitty, I mean, everybody was there. But in her case, she's just taking it upon herself to say, I can do this. And she knows she has to get from one end to the other. She does a good job. They give us a little bit of a Nightcrawler panel there with the 3 images. And that's what it kind of reminded me of. Yeah, I feel like Justin, I was happy for her when she got to the end and she's like, I passed, and zap, The thing I do like about it is, I mean, in regard to the cliffhanger, they give us a little silhouette up in the control room. They show us a hand. And she's still in the danger room. So would they just put her back in, or did she not actually just make it out when she passed?
Right. You don't leave you make it across the room, apparently. Just to this. There's a line in the floor, obviously.
So she's in a lot of trouble right here, and see you next episode.
Exactly. Right.
Yep.
But it's the Claremont build.
Absolutely.
Typical.
Absolutely. Candace is saying, get that Auntie Anne's pretzel. I get that. I can get that. It's right after the Korvac saga, with 24 heroes were gathered in the mansion at the Avengers. There you go. Is it Gerald Ford? I mean, maybe, Bobby. Maybe. Let's see. Braid's better than Willie Nelson. I mean, cultural appropriation maybe going on there. I don't know.
Smoke 'em peace pipe.
Don't get me banned, Chad. Don't get me banned. I agree. This is a very good issue. I agree. McLeod art. We haven't seen this great art on an X book since Cockrum. And I think both Cockrum and McLeod have something in common as far as that Marvel style. But we're going to jump right into the splash page for issue 2.
What was that last comment at the end of the sentence he wrote there?
Backs away from Chet.
Yeah, because he said something about this being the greatest.
He chose not to mention your boy Byrne, but he was complimenting McLeod and Cockrum as being of a level. Yeah, that's all he was saying. He was not. Okay. He was ignoring Byrne as separate, right?
Smart move to back away. Smart move.
So we've got Danny fleeing these monsters. She's tripping. She's falling. It's right on her tail. I cut out a couple of panels. The idea is she's escaping up a hill. She's running around a corner, and she finds the Brood Queen in the freaking danger room. And she's like, what in the heck is this monster? Because we know, because we read Uncanny, that she has no clue. What is this thing? And it says, oh, you know my secrets. Now you have to die. And she falls off of the mountain she had just climbed, falls down and gets knocked unconscious. I had to choose the Anchorman. I am immediately regretting this decision because obviously Danny chose this, right? She chose this for herself, Justin. I mean, she's kind of got nobody to blame but herself for being in this, right?
Yes, that's very true. Yeah. This was this, I have to say, like, the thing that stands out to most to me is this artwork, like especially the splash page. Like, I would love to own, like, I can only imagine whoever owns the original artwork to this, one, just with all the detail that's in it.
Yeah.
Two, I would love to have this as like a poster with color, like, love the bright greens and yellows and blues and how everything pops. And there's so much going on.
Belt. Look at her belt.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's just so much going on right off the bat. And man, I have to find my issue and just see this in I mean, it looks beautiful in the omnibus too. Yeah. Just how
you see the little smiley mushrooms under her hand on the left panel, bottom left panel.
I gotta zoom in on that.
The bottom of the splash page panel on the underneath her hand under the leaf.
Oh, I do mushrooms. I do see the mushrooms. Yeah.
They look like they have smiley faces on them.
Oh yeah, like they're good with the eyes and everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't
just like
see it
spots.
that way, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't really see that either.
Somebody's
but,
pinching and zooming. I don't know.
yeah.
That's what I'm doing, actually. Yeah.
Candace says it went from Jurassic Park to Alien really fast.
Yeah. So I love the Brood too. So like I'm glad that they kind of brought this back in. I'm like, ooh, like here we go. I mean, as we are reminded that this is kind of taking place at this time. So really, really exciting to just see those, the Brood characters again.
Totally. Chet, what are your thoughts on Danny being stuck in the Savage Lands with Brood?
I think she deserves it, so I really don't care at that point. But the art,
I love it.
She shouldn't have gone in. She shouldn't have gone in the first place. I understand the bravado.
Right?
You want to be the superhero. You want to figure things out for yourself. Wait till there's adult supervision. Should have listened.
It's not the playtime snuggle room, right? It's the danger room.
It's the danger room. We've seen people almost lose their heads in the danger room.
Many times. It's the
X-Men Annual 3. But
I don't think Justin's read that one.
Yes, he has. We did that one. We all did that one together. Don't try.
He's thinking of 7, I think.
Yeah. There it is. Okay.
Okay, but the splash page, Justin's right. If this thing was ever put on a poster and done with glossy paints and stuff, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be simply amazing. So that's a fantastic splash page. The detail continues in the next panels, though, with that same monster. I mean, he nails it every time. And her falling off the cliff, minor setback. You're still in the danger room. Thank you, stars. But the Brood Queen showing up reminds us where we left off with the X-Men. So I guess that was their way of selling more books, but
connecting, right?
It's a good way to leave her hemmed up and then go to another scene. And then that next scene when they're in the mall, this is a great piece.
Yeah.
It looks like they're actually chilling in a mall. I mean, look at the characters outside of their colored picture. They're so well drawn and just thrown into the action through shadow. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a Bob McLeod trait that just gets better and better in this. So I'm impressed.
So we're in the mall, and I love that McLeod and Claremont have decided, 31 flavors is nice, but we're going to give you 310 suckers, 310 flavors. We're going to do times 10 your 31 flavor garbage.
That is a lot.
We're at the mall, and as usual, when mutants hang out at the mall, they get bullied. There's bullies at the mall, folks. That's what we've learned from life in X-Men comics. And the team has got to decide to rally around each other and be like, look, we don't want to deal with you guys. You guys suck. Whatever. Deal with your own problems internal. You got inner work to do, my man. While at the same time, Guy Ritchie is watching and monitoring all of this from beyond, and he's hanging out with who but Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Shaw, who we know from the Hellfire Club is a scumbag, evil mutant, who apparently is keeping all of this as an inner monologue where he's like, I can't let Guy Ritchie know that I'm a mutant, but let me bad talk mutants and this great plan. Love your plan. Wipe them all out, kill them all, but just not me. That's basically where we're at. Meanwhile, Stevie's like, I'm having a great time at the mall. I'm supervising all these kids, but I've been kidnapped. This is scary. I don't know quite what's going on. I'm dealing with all this fear, only to find out, wait a second. No, I know who you wait. You're the guy that Carol Danvers was telling me about. This is not a kidnap attempt. This is a rescue attempt. This gentleman who we've seen in the Uncanny Omnibus when dealing with Carol Danvers is one of Carol's military homies. He's there because he's like, look, I'm on the inside of this operation. Guy Ritchie is scummy. Let me help you rescue these kids before this goes sideways. So now we've got all of these books we've been reading, right? Carol Danvers books, X-Men books, New Mutants. It's all coming together here with characters teaming up to try to help these poor kids with bullies at the mall. Chet, what are your thoughts on all of this? This is like the mall and Stranger Things. Everything bad is happening here, right? All the bad stuff.
Well, the kids can't go out and have a good time because they know who they are. Sebastian Shaw knows who they are. Gyrick knows who they are. And now they're all going to be in trouble real soon. But
Right.
Stevie getting kidnapped is a big deal. I think it happened at the right time. The kids are already in their own little squabble while she's being spoken to by Rossi. The question, is Rossi still alive or is he dead now?
I have no idea where Michael Rossi is these days.
Yeah, I assumed that he was just undercover.
I thought I heard his name recently somewhere, but I'm just not sure. So I'll probably end up having to backtrack my own steps. But yeah, he fills her in the whole bit, and the plan's still going to come through because we know what's next. So the kids are still just having a good time. They're expecting
big robots. Yeah.
And the kids, apparently they've made friends rather than getting into squabbles. So, but here comes the fuzz, I guess. And then I'll let you take it from here.
Well, we got Rod the Rican in the chat, another great community homie. He's been dropping a ton of videos. He's blowing up. He's making a big name for himself. Good to see you, my man. How you doing, sir? And I hope they're going to Spencer's. Get some toys, get some cheap stuff made from overseas. I appreciate it. Hot Topic. I don't think it was a thing at this point, but it's all happening. So Justin, what were your thoughts on the mall excursion here?
I mean, again, just more of that kind of team bonding in a way. They are like Sam's kind of got Berto's back when they're kind of first starting up with these guys, and he's like holding them back, and they're scuffling, and they kind of end up being friendly as we'll see moving forward. But I like that little bit there. And then Sebastian Shaw, man, just like right when you think you're rid of that guy, he's back. And it's like I'm trying to keep that in the forefront of my mind that this is going on still while he's very much still at the forefront of Claremont storytelling with X-Men. And
he's the cockroach that survives the nuclear war.
Seriously, man. It's like and like I'm always trying to like fully understand his angle with things because he is a mutant, as even he says here, like this guy barely he has no idea if he knew the truth, like how would he feel? So he's like kind of letting him. He's just so tricky. And I mean, at the end of the day, is it just like, does he just want like to run the world or run? Like what is he like Doom kind of like, and he just wants to be the boss of his own area?
The side quest of the Hellfire Club, besides a whole lingerie line that they got going, is we want to be the anti-Xavier, right? We want to collect young kids and make evil mutants out of them. So they're just as interested in this crew of New Mutants in the same way that we saw in the graphic novel that Pierce was trying to collect them. Sebastian Shaw and Emma Frost have those same designs, right? And we've seen this time and again as a repeated theme. Emma, Shaw, Pierce, they're always trying to collect young mutants and turn them evil while Xavier is trying to turn them good, right? That's an ongoing back and forth. And the government is just like, let's kill them all. That's the government's role in all of that.
So this is just like the Transformers. That's exactly that's all I heard. What you
just got Rod. Autobots roll out.
Yes, that's exactly. I fully am caught up now.
Lasso's asking where the Diana Ross and the Sam Goody is.
Diana
I don't think Justin's young enough to know what old enough to know what a Sam Goody is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There it is.
I like that he said Diana Rossi.
Dana Rossi.
Yes. Related to Michael Rossi. What was there was another comment in there. I think it was where was it? I lost it now. Oh, Roy Kirk. Roy Kirk says, "Hey, you're Carol's dead friend." Like, that's good. He's freaking out there. Yep. And you're in a closet with this guy, and this guy it looks like he has a cane he's holding on to at one point. I mean, the one thing with Stevie though, like very confident. I know she can handle herself. So even when this first happened, I'm like, I feel bad for whoever's trying to capture her right now.
Yeah, don't mess with the battle.
She doesn't panic at all. No panic.
No, she's chill. She's definitely, she keeps it together.
Yeah. Moving forward, while they are talking, government goons show up and they basically take the New Mutants, and the New Mutants are kind of struggling because they don't know where Stevie is. So they're like, who do we turn to make the big choices here? This is a moment when I expected Sam to step up, and he doesn't. Instead, Jeanne is kind of left as the oldest to make the choices, and she's scared of
Yeah.
government because her experiences in Vietnam were like, you question the government, you could end up in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah.
So she is very much like, we just got to go with these goons. We got to go where they're going. So she basically convinces everybody to follow the goons, even though the new friends they've kind of made are like, you guys don't need to deal with the government goons. They don't have a warrant. They don't have any of this paperwork. They didn't show you but a badge that could be faked. We don't know. Well, the New Mutants are escorted through the garage, and that's when Rossi shows up and he's like, get these guys. And he's got a phaser of some kind that stuns people. So he stuns one of them, and Sam is like, well, that's my cue.
Oh, yeah.
If Stevie's on your side, I'm going to rock this joint. And he hits a car into one of those guys. Roberto's like, well, I'm going to mess up a car. If you're messing up a car, let's all mess up cars. So he beats on a car. He doesn't even beat on one of the goons. He's just like messing up a car. Then Rain is like, well, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to bite this guy like bad dog.
I don't like his scent.
Yeah, it's all just getting wild. And then it's like, wow, these New Mutants are pretty tough. This is pretty awesome. And Michael Rossi's like, good. This is exactly how I wanted it to go. You guys are doing great. And then giant robot shows up, Chet. Like, holy crap, giant hand reaches through a building. What were your thoughts when it was like blue robots?
Like, now it's turning into an X-Men book. I like it. Because it literally reminds me of issue number 98 where the new team first sees a Sentinel, and then it gets crazy. Literally crazy. The Sentinel's flying through the air, and not the what's it, Sam Cannonball shooting them out of the top of the mall. This is now we're in full action mutant style, and I like it. Just the way it carries over. Everybody's getting a chance to use their powers and show off now. That's my biggest takeaway from this. I love that part.
Yes, for sure. Justin, any thoughts here on the New Mutants finally getting to fight real foes, not random walls that jump in front of them and stuff?
Yeah, I love Conlin's comment. Says full on somebody hit somebody mode. Like,
sorry, did I miss? Which one
I think it's down further.
Okay, there it is.
Like everybody just starts destroying things, and I thought about like for Rain when she goes and bites. Like, I wonder if like when we saw her before going after Donald Pierce, biting him and kind of learning a lesson of like, oh, she bit into like metal because this guy was like,
how do you know that guy's not a robot?
Right. I was kind of wondering like if that would ever come up again of like, her questioning, like, am I good to like bite into this thing? Because last time it didn't work so well. But yeah, no, I do like that everybody just kind of takes to it. I agree. Yep. I thought Sam would have that opportunity because we saw Sam earlier in this issue or the first issue kind of react early and be a leader in the beginning. I thought we'd see more. I thought that was going to be a lead into this. And you're right, John. Like, we didn't get that. It was a little bit of a miss for his position. I do like. I just get this vision. So that middle panel at the top there
with Cannonball.
With the secure with the right. The red tie, the suit guys, the goons. I just immediately think of like the Matrix, Mr. Anderson. Like the way they all got the sunglasses on and they're wearing the same suit and tie kind of thing. Like that's completely these kind of bad guys. So I'm glad that they kind of got pushed around and beaten up. And this is something too that Shaw mentioned earlier. Like he talks about how Charles, he found these kids and like clearly we can't take them for granted. They could be very dangerous. And like here, obviously these cops or whatever, like they didn't do their homework in that way, and they think that they're just these reckless kids, but they do some work. Like they put on a show. Yeah, exactly. So, and we're
going to
really
mess up some cars
with it. Yeah, well, true. But as we'll go into it, we'll see them destroy some blue and gray robots along the way too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, then let's get into the robots because that's what this next whole round is.
Yeah.
You've got poor Rossi trying to shoot robots, which is really not going to work well. Instead, Cannonball's like, well, I can punch robots. That's if I can do anything, I can knock these suckers down. So he blasts one right out the roof. Roberto's like, this is man's work. Women go in the kitchen, take Michael Rossi. I'm going to go punch these guys. And then he realizes, oh, wait, he's like Superman. I need the sun to make my powers work. So I'm going to crash through this wall. Oh, wait, I'm like 3 stories up. This is not a good spot to jump through the wall. I'm going to fall all the way down and crush another damn car. These guys are wrecking all the cars in the mall. And the robots are like trying to,
we're getting X-Men size damage.
Oh, totally.
Okay, so that's another thing that keeps with the theme.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, you're right on.
Good point.
The robots are like, wait, track that mutant. I don't know what this guy's powers are. Track this mutant. And the mutants are like, I'm just busting this joint up. I'm just going to destroy everything. Forget about Old Navy. We're not getting genes out of this. This is not happening. For those that don't know, these are Mark 5 Sentinels. These are the 5th.
I was wondering what
V. If you want to do Roman numeral V Sentinels. And yes, happy Wonder Woman Day, which was yesterday, but we're still celebrating. Yes. Always celebrating. Always be celebrating.
That's right.
So lots of damage happening to the parking structure here, though. Chet, what did you want to talk about? Sentinel battles going on here.
Well, these Sentinels, I mean, once Roberto trips one up, I mean, it's the whole mall. So, and then he rips off the head. So I don't know if these Sentinels, the Mark 5s they seem kind of weak on a grand scale.
Right.
You know, if the brand new mutants can take out Sentinels like this, then they might need a little bit of an upgrade, because the Sentinels we know were taking out Colossus and Wolverine and the high-powered mutants. But hey, if this is the first try and these are the Sentinels they got, then they did a good job.
Right.
Acceptable.
Adam says, you wreck a car and you wreck a car and everybody wrecks a car. I love it. Right. Reminds me of the X-Men cartoon where the Sentinels show up at the mall. Exactly. A lot of that. It's a common trope in the X-Men Claremont era for sure. Nobody's talking about Wonder Woman last.
I'm sorry. I definitely like that Sam got the biggest amount of exposure in terms of handling the Sentinels. Even with John using her power to control him and do more damage.
We'll get to that for sure. Oh, absolutely. What's up? DJ Wise is in the chat, stopping in for hellos. I appreciate you, sir. Hope Bethany, your lady friend, is doing well. Roberto's like, I'll take out this Sentinel, pick him up by his foot. Oh, wait. That's bad for gravity, because this robot is now going to crash right through the sandwich shop and the fandom zone and the Spencer's toys. Like that whole section of the mall just gets trashed by Roberto, who's like, my bad, y'all.
Kind of backfired.
And Cannonball, Sam Guthrie gets zapped by apparently like freeze ray eyeballs, which I didn't know Sentinels have, but apparently they've got. They turn him into a cubesicle and they fly off with him. And the rest of the team's like,
it was probably an antifreeze leak gone wrong.
We've trashed them all, and our faux Sam Guthrie leader guy just got taken away as a popsicle. We are not doing well here, Justin. What are your thoughts on this? Firstly, I love the the spread page, right?
Yeah. That's definitely stood out to me. Probably one of my favorites of just the artwork panel wise in this whole issue. Love seeing Roberto ripping off the head, as Chet mentioned. I like that we learned a little bit more about Roberto's powers. You talked earlier about him needing to be out in the sun, like. Obviously the name Sunspot, but still just being new to these characters, it's like, oh, okay, that's how that works. Like, good to know, like for future stuff. Like, I'm still even more curious, like, how long is he charged up for or before he runs out of more power? And, if he's ever like in a dungeon fighting or a cave or something, like, is he SOL or is he, it's all, how do you,
it's very Superman-like. He definitely has a connection to the sun that's very important to him, like Superman does with the yellow sun, right?
Totally. I will say, just from, and again, it's early, everything that we're, breaking into with these New Mutants, I don't know how I feel about the artwork when it comes to Roberto when he's in his form.
The all black.
Yeah, like
I'm with you.
Like it's just
lazy.
Yeah,
and the little like sunspot dots around him and
stuff. Like you don't even see those spots right here at this leg when he's grabbing the leg or whatever. It just looks like
shadow.
It looks like Peter Pan's shadow kind of thing. So that's like what that's all I see, So I don't know. As far as a character design goes, you see his eyes, you see his mouth, and that's all you ever really see, at least for this era. I can't remember now what it looked like with the more current stuff, but
no, it hasn't evolved a ton.
It hasn't changed. Yeah. So yeah, I
there's
feel like
more dots, maybe more sparkly dots around him. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like
and he can fly now, I believe, right?
Yep.
In current stuff. Yeah. So I don't know, just something to think
about.
That's a
great point.
Kind of stands out to me. Yeah, like I every time I see him, and I'm like, oh, I want more, and then it's just like nothing. It's just a shadow. But yeah. Other than that, one thing too to point out: these robots, as a skill, I guess, or not skill, as how they're programmed, I should say. They do recognize. They even call it out, like once if you take out a robot one way, they all learn from those moves or those, tactics. So you quickly can't apply or do that again necessarily.
Right.
So to me, that was a little bit of an upgrade compared to what we had seen in previous models. So, the Mark V, having that addition, and obviously it helps when you have, constant, there's 20 of them that show up here. So
we're always making new robots.
Always
new robots.
Exactly.
I love the concern about the Spencers and from Adam and all the slabs, the cracked slabs that Candace is worried about.
Thanks, Candace.
Jackson says when Xavier gets the bill for this, he turns into the Brood Queen. Peter Pan's shadow for sure. I love that. That's funny.
Yes.
I'm going to jump forward a little bit because the battle keeps going. While they're flying away, Jean's like, you know what? I can control Sam, even if he's a cubesicle. I'm going to make him fly where I want and pull the Sentinel along. I'm going to pull them all the way into outer space. So she starts flying it off. But another Sentinel is battling her and Rain, and they're like, I don't know what to do. He's not really got good aim. He's blasting kind of in between the two kids. I don't know what this guy's doing, but Rain's like, I'm going to jump over and protect Shan because she's clearly in her, I'm controlling somebody else, mental meditation space. Meanwhile, Stevie's like, I just want to save some of these kids. I don't know who's going to die here today, but I'm going to get blamed for all of it. So she's like, me and Michael Rossi are going to get these kids back to school as quickly as we can.
She's like, one is better than none, right? One is better than none.
Right? But then Michael Rossi's like, screw that. I'm shooting these robots. And she's like, God damn it. Like, what are you doing? You're just drawing attention. Your stupid phaser is not going to do anything against these giant robots. Did you see it freeze that kid? What are you doing?
Look at the way the robot's looking at him for firing that pellet gun at him.
And she's like, I'm just trying to save one kid today. Just let me save this one kid. No. Sam wakes up in outer space and he's like, oh, I'm pulling this robot around. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to solve everybody's problem. I'm going to pull robot A all the way back down and crash him into robot B and end this whole thing. So he whips a U-turn, flies back down, pulls robot into robot, which I will say I had to reread these panels several times to be like, is that what's going on? Because this is legitimately the end of the battle right here.
Yeah.
Crashing back in and it's all done. And I'm like, there's got to be another robot here, right? But no, that's it. That's the end of the drama here. Justin, did that catch you by surprise? You're like, wait, what's going on? It's all done?
Yeah, I thought after that scene of crashing in, they'd get up and be like, okay, now let's handle the other 15.
Two more robots still got to go.
This model now repairing itself for the battle. We didn't get that at all.
No.
So yeah, that little disappointed there. I will say with this, I love the layers of how this team has to work together because like you were saying, like Sam is off, he's frozen, flying up into space. Shan has to use her meditation and focus to control him and use him almost as like a weapon itself, controlling Sam, but she lets go of her own guard. So now it's on Rain to be like, oh, I got to protect her. So I love how it's all about like, they have to have each other. They're all taking turns to have each other's back. And their powers are not so dominant where one can just wipe everybody out or whatever, but they really do.
Learning, right?
Yes, they really are forced to have to like work together in certain ways. And I'm really excited to see how strategic they can get, down the road as far as them fighting side by side and who handles what. So I just see all the possibilities already just from this little instance. And it's got to be really cool, whatever villains, may come.
Totally.
But But yeah, no. Otherwise, yeah, it did kind of end a little quick. There.
As always, these issues kind of just end quickly.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Bobby's also worried about the Spencers. He's doing upside down question marks. I'm impressed by that, Bobby.
Very confused.
He also says Sunspot is his favorite. He's a big fan of that as well. I wanted to miss that.
Nice.
And he also says this is why we don't have malls anymore. The X-Men kids always getting into the shenanigans. In the malls. So there you go. I appreciate that. Chet, any thoughts here on how this all kind of wraps up as far as the battle with the Sentinels?
The battle with the Sentinels, I guess those were the only two Sentinels invited to the party.
Yeah.
I guess it was a scare tactic more than an actual attempt at anything bigger. So
I think there were 3, but I lose track pretty quick. This panel right here shows 3. The bottom left panel shows 3.
So the one that Roberto took out is the one without the head. So then
Roberto rips the head off of one.
Okay, so
right. And the other 2 are what were remaining.
And then the other 2,
I guess it adds up. It just seems like there's like 10.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Yeah,
but he does.
We usually get a lot more Sentinels than this.
And then Sam crashes 2 into each other.
I love this plane gift that you have. It's the wings that are
going. Sam Guthrie is the king of the crash landings. That's great. Like his whole power set is like, I'm just gonna crash into crap really hard
and see what happens.
That's a good theme to have if you're joining a team that X-Men. All they do is crash everything.
Yeah,
I remember when we first started. When you guys first started Omni X-Men, every episode I was on, they were crashing a plane.
Yes, do not get on a plane near these.
They went through a lot of Blackbirds early on.
So Guthrie keeping up the team.
Well, and the rest of the team has a lot of like finesse powers. They're like wolves, and they're controlling your mind, and they're creating illusions. And Sam's like, "Screw that, Hulk smash!"
You get the Hulk smash for sure.
He's the king of the Hulk smash. If you're not a Hulk, well, let's finish it out.
At the end of this.
Yeah, the ending here is the government's getting taken away, and they're completely confessing. And you might be like, "Well, why are they confessing?" Well, it's because Shannon's sitting in the backseat of the car, like, forcing them to confess for what they've done, which is hilarious. And Michael Rossi's like, #worth it. He's like, do it. These guys are scum. Like, we should absolutely make them confess for their crimes. It's hilarious the way he's like, Michael Rossi's like, no rules, just right. Let's just make this happen. Let's just make it all done. The team
you're under arrest, dummy.
The team gets back home happy at a successful day when they destroyed a mall and a bunch of citizens' cars, only to find poor Danny on the floor of the danger room, traumatized. And they're like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Hold me, Stevie Hunter. I don't know what's going on. I had crazy visions. I don't know what's going on." Stevie's like, "Weird. The only person here that could have traumatized her is Xavier. It couldn't possibly be him." But we get the cliffhanger of brood monster lurking over Xavier. Dun dun dun. Very scary, very shocking moment here to end it all. I'm going to throw it to Cliff to Chet here to ask him a little bit about what his thoughts are of this ending, and say hello to Joel the Geek, who he did a Magic Lasso live stream yesterday celebrating Wonder Woman Day. If you haven't caught it, I was all through the chat loving those 2 guys and their great show last night. So if you missed it, it's on the Joel the Geek YouTube channel.
Nice.
But yeah, Chet, what are your thoughts on the ending here?
I love Rossi telling John, "Don't stop until every last piece of the truth comes out." Make sure Gyrick looks like a total idiot. He's like, "Why am I in handcuffs? Why? I'm Peter Gyrick." They're like, "Idiot, you're under arrest."
I don't think that's Gyrick. Isn't that just one of his cronies?
Yeah, I thought that was
okay. So, yeah, you're right. It's just the crony.
He confesses that his superior is Gyrick. He confesses that I'm part of a government agency led by Peter Gyrick.
My bad.
Yeah,
his name is John.
He rats on everybody.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because basically nice cleanup work from inside of a car without having to do anything. These guys are just literally incriminating themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when they get back to the danger room and see Danny on the floor, I mean, their first thought had to be she's dead. She was told not to go in here alone.
Right.
So apparently she's not dead, and the whole end of it with Professor Xavier, that's another decent cliffhanger because we know what's going on with, or what he's been through in terms of Brood. And who is this? Is that a Brood Queen, or is that being projected into his head by Danny? I mean,
I think it's the Brood Queen, right?
Yeah, I took it as the Brood Queen.
The Queen of the Brood appearing above him, just as he is unaware of its body growing within him.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah. I didn't remember that.
Which we've read those issues, that sort of iconic but inaccurate cover of them carrying Xavier's body and looking like he died is part of this Brood saga, because they fight the Brood in space and succeed only to come home knowing there's one more Brood to destrow. I think it's this one.
I think it's 146 or something like that. Sounds about right.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm a little surprised I didn't like put like, go see X-Men 146, like like how,
because we're not there yet. Like they're still connecting us to Binary and the Brood
so it hasn't hit yet.
They haven't defeated the Brood in space.
A little
they're hinting us about the fact that there's also Broods on Earth.
I see.
I think Justin might mean 163 to 166 ish, around there, because 146, which was 146. 146 was. I
thought that's where they were carrying Xavier.
Okay.
No, I think it's a little later.
No, hold on. 145 was 144. 145 was Doom. 146 is Doom. 147 is Evil Storm. 140.
Okay. So
yeah,
164. Oh, 64.
It might be in the 160s.
I'm switching the numbers around. Yeah, I think it's 64, 60.
You're right. 163, 164. Those are Brood issues. Yeah.
I love Clemson says they crashed so many Blackbirds that Forge had to come up with a way to make them self-repairing in the X-Force series.
Yeah. Have you guys been reading that by any chance?
The current?
I've read up to the end of the Krakoa era.
Oh yeah, up to the Krakoa. Yeah, I haven't heard the all new stuff. I have.
I read
I'm completely reading the new stuff, and some of it is great. Some of it is a little mild.
Okay,
but
I do plan to catch up because I've read a couple issues of each so far.
The Storm first issue was solid, and I'm excited for the second issue.
Oh, I haven't read it yet, but I will read it tonight after we're done, because now I forgot about it.
Yeah, it's all good.
On the list.
There's a video. There's a short on my Instagram and YouTube if you guys want to check it out. Yes, Joel, it was a great live stream, and I was glad that I was in there in the chat for you. Lasso says these two issues were a lot of fun to me to go back to revisit. Hadn't read them in a long time. They are the type of comic books that I adore. That sort of late Bronze, early modern age stuff that I can totally agree with you. The next issue is New Mutants 3 and 4. We're skipping any of the Uncanny books in the app. Oh, and there's let me blow up my man.
This is what Roy Kirk is just saying. Yeah, 167. That's what I was thinking of. As you guys were talking about, and I flipped the numbers around, but 167.
No problem.
That ends kind of the sort of the Brood stuff.
Nice.
I mean, you made a mistake. You have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Justin, any last thoughts on how this all wraps up as far as the way they catch these government goons and the way they discover Danny and her secrets?
Yeah. So again, more just like seeing some of these kids' abilities and how they use them. I have so many ideas of like, man, like Jen, she should be like working with Daredevil right now. Like she, like think of all the masterminds and evil that he deals with, and in the court system, in the like just being
make him confess all of them.
Yeah, like she could just go like and just save so much time and energy, take over their mind. She gets their. We know that she gets their memories and a bit of who they are and everything else. So she could at least find out the truth of like why someone did something or why this person was murdered. What were the motives of this killer?
Dude, if he was working with Daredevil, like he would tell her this heartbeat's elevated. He's telling a lie. Get the lie out, and she'd take control and spill the lie right on the jury.
Yeah, like it would just be a really cool team. So like to know, because
that's a good one, Justin.
I didn't consider that that's something she could do until she did it.
Well, let's be honest. Jean can do it. Xavier could do it. Any telepath could do this shit.
That's a good
right?
point.
Like they could all go in and be like, that guy's a liar. That guy did it.
They all need to help Daredevil out.
Even Danny could be like, let me manifest what their murder looked like.
Yeah.
Like she's like, let me just show you what they did. Whammo. Here it is in pink. Enjoy it.
I think Danny would work well with like the character Scarecrow.
They're like a one-team tribunal at this point.
That would be scary on top of scary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, Danny Moonstar and Scarecrow teaming up.
Yeah,
That would be
there it
pretty
is.
wicked.
Thompson says, I've never known anything about New Mutants before. I'm enjoying the heck out of these lives. I appreciate you, Matt.
Yeah.
A lot
you,
of people don't go back and really get into these early issues. And this first omnibus is massive, but also incredibly rewarding, I think, overall. So I'm glad that we're doing it, and I'm glad that you're here for it, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is that all 100 issues plus Marvel Team Up 100?
No.
And
20. No, it's only the first 20, 30 issues.
30 it's 30.
Okay.
30. It might be 30 something issues plus annuals, the Marvel team ups, the graphic novel, and all that. It's a really great omnibus. If you can find it for cheap, I don't even know if they're still printing it, but that first omnibus of New Mutants is worth the price.
Oh yeah.
I might have to pass. Those things are heavier than actual comics, and they can't be graded. I don't know.
It's hey, you're the workout king. Like, exercise that Immortal Hulk.
They can be signed, Chet. They can be signed. Just saying.
I absolutely want to get my Omnis signed by Claremont.
You're gonna pay for that.
I did pay for that. I literally paid.
That's not what I meant. That was very nice to see. That was really very cool.
I might even get a remark from McLeod on something like that.
There you go. That's what I was going to have him do. He had a long line when
I want to end this. We've done issues 1 and 2. We'll try to give them, if we need, separate scores, but I'm fine if they're all together. We try to do a CGC scoring scale here. So, Justin, I'm going to throw it to you. How would you grade issues 1 and 2 of New Mutants?
Man, I tell you, I loved both of them. I really did. I enjoyed, again, and maybe it's just partially because they're just new and I'm learning them as I go. But I think that the way the stories are told and the examples that we see of how they work together, their challenges, their struggles, they're not all perfect. They all clearly have their own issues mentally and what they're battling or struggling with. They're just so relatable and likable too. I think that just all around, getting their personality between the graphic novel and these 2 issues. So for me, these are up there. These are going to be like 9.6s for me, because between that plus the Bob McLeod artwork that I'm loving, like all of this stuff, which again, I'll admit, like getting into, every time we get into a new, omnibus, I'm a little nervous with the artwork because I'm still, coming from a place where I'm very spoiled with Cockrum and Byrne. And so when we get into these newer artists, every time I take a minute, I'm like, do I like this? And as we read into it, I'm like, okay, yes, I do like this. And I get used to it. And then I get into it. And then I'm like, man, this artist was great. Like, once I get to see their work on their own, not compared to any other artist, clearly, they, whoever's job it was to pair up Claremont, with all these project editors and all that stuff, they nailed it for a lot of this. So I'm glad that Bob got this, and this is his, this was a big kickoff to everything he's worked on. So love it for all that. So for me, as Bobby says, 9.6 white pages. That's how I'm putting both issues 1 and 2, whether you want to do it separate or together. So,
love it. What about you, Mr. Chedai Knight? How would you grade these 2 issues?
It's a good carryover from graphic novel 4 altogether. So all 3 of those books collectively go well, because we get the beginning, then we get the inclusion, and then we get the team. We get to know who's who, what they can do, how well they're already doing it at a certain stage, how bad they're doing it at a certain stage. 2 issues in, it's a good team. I mean, it's a change up from what I'm used to in terms of, because I'll tell you, when these books came out, I was like, they're deviating from the X-Men for a reason. Why? They took away Byrne, and now they're giving me a new team. What's up with this? But I like the way this team actually just fell in. It was a smooth transition to read up on them and still be able to follow the X-Men, even though the X-Men art was getting worse and worse as I kept reading. But
don't hate on my Smith, man.
I'm not hating, but I'm not liking either. But
all right.
I'm not loving is what I should say. I liked, but I didn't love. But Bob McLeod, even back to the X-Men 94 stuff and around there, he's a great artist. Yeah. I mean, you can see his images. I mean, when he wants something to stand out, it's in color. When he wants something to blend in, it's part of the shadow or the lack of light. And he does all of that perfectly. So on that note, these stories, I like them. Again, I like the way they flow into the theme of X-Men and, how it goes. I'm going to go with Justin. I got to go 9.6.
Yeah.
9.6. On a grand scale, it's a 9.6.
Love it. I love it.
So,
and I I'm right there with you. I want to say hi to my guy CJ. If you guys missed it during Comics Curing Cancer, one of my favorite live streams supporting the cause came from this gentleman right here. I bought all kinds of artwork. They're sitting in my garage. I've got to unbox some stuff. I got stuff from Izzyverse. I got stuff from Big Papa Wheelie. But CJ did a phenomenal job. And then it went over the next night into K-pop. She was doing, again, a bunch of community artists doing original artwork and selling it all the proceeds, all the profits going to Comics Curing Cancer. So shout out to CJ for being such a soldier in that battle and for doing a great live stream that night. So huge appreciation to you, sir. And yeah, that's
very good, CJ.
I want to say too, I just had the pleasure of meeting him at New York Comic Con. So good stuff.
Did you?
Yeah, man.
So you've seen the face behind.
Yes, and I didn't know who I was talking to, but luckily some of the other friends were like, when I first introduced you, I'm like, he's like, should I tell him? Yeah, and then they let me in on it. So yeah,
because I purchased CJ's portrait of, Papa's portrait of CJ. Is somewhere. I've already lost.
Oh, nice.
It. Gosh dang it! It's usually sitting right here by me. Oh, I put it behind the short boxes. So I purchased artwork of CJ for Comics Curing Cancer. But more than that, I think he's always just been a great supporter of that cause and of community artists, like the community artists, people trying to make a living with their artwork, including himself. Obviously, he does a ton of artwork himself. So hugely appreciate the way he champions those people. I'm not gonna continue the Poop Man discussion, but I am gonna make content out of my artwork because I purchased it for a whole $1 journey. So I'm gonna use that $1 for a ton of great pieces. But yeah, thank you for always championing community artists and for fighting cancer with us. So I appreciate that, man. Yeah, this is a 9.6 all day for me. I may slightly 9.6.5 the Sentinel stuff and 9.4.5 ish the Danger Room stuff because I always lean towards Sentinels. I'm a Sentinels fanboy. But yeah, put them all together and it's just greatness. It's just really great stuff. And I don't think McLeod gets enough love. I know he's a Marvel journeyman, a guy who hits a deadline, can turn out books like crazy. He was just one of those troopers in Marvel at the time. Yeah. And it was when I went to Florida for MegaCon, I was super pumped to meet him and to get a New Mutants. I knew I needed a bunch of New Mutants books for my run, so I just grabbed one. I knew that I would just buy one while I was there and bring it to him and have it signed and just chat with him. I think it was issue 16 or something that I snagged. Really friendly guy. Loved talking with him. No line at the guy's freaking boot. Cable.
That's
no
insane.
Line.
It is crazy.
It was wonderful. And so I chatted with him a bunch, got a couple of signatures, and I definitely would love to have an Omni. If he ever came to the West Coast, I'd bring some Omnis and have him sign those. Because
I met him at Baltimore Comic Con a few years ago, Justin, when I met you. And
he's an East Coast guy, so he tends to hit a lot of the cons on the East Coast.
And he's the first piece of art in my mutant sketchbook. He did a Colossus for me. And
nice,
sick.
You know what? It might be right here.
I've seen. He was at Terrificon multiple times, and I've seen a lot of
CJ says he got no love at NYCC. They had him off in the dealers section. That's a shame.
He and his wife are very nice people.
He's a boss. He's a top flight guy that I think doesn't get the same love that he deserves, for sure. If you see him at a con, grab your New Mutants books, get him over there, get him signed.
Yeah, lug it over if you have the
omnibus. So Bob McLeod's first.
Oh yeah,
look at that! Come on, folks.
Yep, the detail.
Do I dare ask what that?
I gave him the first page. He got the first page in this book, and I think I gave him the second too. Or no, Rubenstein was Wolverine on the second page.
Always a good pick, Rubenstein Wolverine.
And Bob McLeod on the old Magneto.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Get out. Yeah. Look at that.
And Bob McLeod on the Sunfire.
That's like the Bob McLeod book.
Who asks for Sunfire? Get out of here. Yeah. Come on, man.
I asked for Sunfire. Off the big screen.
I'm getting you out of here to the Sunfire. The Sunfire
there
is
you go. Wait, one more, John. You'll like this one.
You're out of here. Oh,
Keith Williams.
All right.
Keith Williams, Banshee.
Nice.
God dang nobody asks for Sunfire. Nobody asks for that. I'm getting to the numbers because we're going to go late already. There are 2 10.0s for issue 1, 5 9.9s with the last sold in 2017 of $949 for a 9.9 of issue 1. There are 83 9/8 of issue 2 for fair market value of $90, and a 9.8 of issue 1 goes for about $95. So reasonably priced 9/8 if you want them. What kind of significance do these books have? Obviously, the origin of Karma a little bit in issue 1. First appearance of the Mark V Sentinels in issue 2. The 3rd and 4th team appearances of this new Mutants squad. New Mutants.
Say that 3 times.
And then, of course, the first mention of Professor Xavier having a kid. Anything else you guys want to mention about these issues as far as key elements or prices or costs? Anything anybody wants to mention here?
I will say if I find like I don't know, the 9.6 of issue 2 being $28, I will absolutely snatch that up every time.
Right. $28 for a 9.6.
I really do love that cover. Issue number 2. I think that one compared to 1, especially, like, just stands out to me. Like, I want to buy that book again. Like, I own it and I want to buy it again.
I think I have an issue 1 and a 9.4, but it's never been pressed and cleaned. So I'm hoping it could be a 9.6, 9.8, but I've never sent it in.
I think these are very fair as far as under $100 for a 9.8 for
those are steals.
These
Absolute
gems.
steals.
I mean, these are fantastic.
Sure.
So of course,
they're
I would
40-year-old books.
But
it
is a long time.
Some love for Chet's artwork, gorgeous stuff.
Gorgeous.
Lasso's asking why you got a drawing of Arcade, but I don't
No,
know what that's all about.
Lasso. I need you to go to the principal's office on this, Lasso.
Jackson Kirk says JP died about an hour ago. He's passed out in bed somewhere asleep.
Yeah, he's napping now. Yeah.
All right, so I'll get that out of here because we've reached the end of the show, which means we've reached the trivia portion. I'm trying to keep us under 2 hours. We did two issues tonight, and I'm keeping us on time as best I can. This is the end of the show. We ask 4 trivia questions. You can get a chance to get on our giveaway wheel because in June, near our shared birthday time of the year, we're giving away a ton of stuff. We're giving away all this guy's slabs usually. I'm giving away epic mystery boxes. We're giving away original art from our comic community homie Geeking Out with Rosko, which he gave away stuff for Comics Curing Cancer as well. I've even got some Rosko artwork behind me here. If you've never seen Rosko's stuff, he did that Stranger Things piece for me right there.
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal artist in our community. Awesome. He is doing an X-Men cover for us, front and back, New Mutants themed, and we will be giving that piece away to the community. So lots of goodies. How do you get on the wheel? You answer trivia questions about last week's episode. We've got 4 questions, 2 from me and 2 from Justin, breaking down last week's episode. I'm going to kick it with Justin first. He's going to give us our first question. We're looking for 2 correct answers and Chet's favorite non-correct answer. So 3 entries on the wheel just in this first question.
All right, so my first question is, what did Jan do to show a demonstration of her powers for Professor X last issue? Right in the middle, they were kind of going over, Professor X was trying to understand more, doing a bunch of trying to visualize everything through her mind to see how her powers work, and he still couldn't quite get it. So he goes, he asked, can you do an example or demonstration of how your powers work? What was it? And I'll take a variation of words or collection of words here, but
sure.
What was it that Jan did in order to demonstrate how her powers work?
And as a reminder, these are from the graphic novel number 4, which is the first appearance of a lot of our New Mutants characters. That's where these questions are going to be based on. The episode was over on Justin's channel, which his channel is linked below.
Yep.
You want to subscribe because we're going to be back over there next week, back and forth, and you want to make sure you're there.
Yep.
Lots of funny. The first 3 answers, we got some comedy going on. So far, nobody's been able to give us the correct answer of what did she do to show her powers to Xavier? What did she do with her abilities to demonstrate them to Xavier? Comedy-wise, we've got, she danced the funky chicken.
Definitely a Lassowitz. I didn't even need to see his name.
There you go. Joel the Geek says, made him a sandwich Wolverine style, which means it crashed an airplane. Made him do the Thriller dance because it's Happy Halloween spooky season. There you go. She slabbed all of her comments.
Nice.
Chet would be approving of that. So playing to the audience.
Where is she? Where can I find her? I'll buy a ring tomorrow.
Yeah.
Journey says, no, she carefully conducted a prostate exam.
That's what I was going to say.
Men's health is important. We appreciate you, Journey, bringing that to our attention.
That's right.
She took over Moira and made her put down AK-47 suppressing fire. All right. And Bobby Delgado says she did a hot tour and spit on that thing.
Oh, Bobby.
Wow. Off to a solid start in the chat.
Let me say
what's hilarious. There's one correct answer in that list that I read. I just read a bunch of hilarious comedic answers. One was correct, folks. One person in that crew got a correct answer.
I see a second now.
Did you? So, is it that one?
Yeah. So I'm going to give it to Lasso, who was second. The first one I'm going with Roy Kirk, who said she took over Moira. That part is absolutely correct. She took over her mind.
There was no AK-47 suppressing fire. However, correct that she did manipulate Moira as a way to demonstrate her skills.
And Roy Kirk, you're not off. I'm sure the AK-47 was like on the desk, like right next to
it. There were
as always.
Two comedy answers. Am I allowed to split the winning answer on the first one?
I'll let you pick two. Go ahead, buddy. What do you want?
All right. So I think it was Candace. What did Candace say?
Slabbed all her
comics.
That's a win in my book.
Yeah, it is. It's a W.
And who said something else before her? Hold on.
The Thriller dance. I got
the Thriller dance. That was it. It was the Thriller dance because of Halloween. So that's a good one. All right.
There we go. Two correct answers and still some funny things going on in this chat. I appreciate you all. I'm going to get my first. Oh my gosh. Yes, always the pearl clutching. Always the pearl clutching. I'm going to say, okay. What was awkward about the moment when the new team gets their costumes? I highlighted something about the new costumes moment that was a little awkward for me, the dad reading that book. What was it that was awkward when the new team gets their new yellow and black costumes? Something a little awkward. Huge shout out. I'm going to actually throw a point to Jackson Roy Kirk for being the start line for all of our questions without even being asked.
That's right.
My dude is dropping the start line right there. Right. And I'm giving two correct answers. One is to Conlon Comics because, there was some naked teens, and I don't know that I needed that in my X-Men book. And Magic Lasso says 2-piece outfit with toplessness.
Yeah.
Also true. We had Danny Moonstar, not her moons, but she was showing off something. Not mooning. There was a naked mutant alert, a Moonstar topless moment. Danny's unitard and casual, almost Aurora level topless casualness. There was a bit they were a bit thongish. Sometimes Xavier picks costumes for teenagers that aren't right for teenagers. So maybe there were thong. There was co-ed changing. Krakoa was made for lovers, Joel. I don't know if you know that.
That's right. That's right.
Sam's uniform was too short and he had the high waters. I get it. Cannonball just lost it over them boots, the yellow boots. It was the glitter outfits. I'm just going to say, as a teacher, glitter is the VD of art supplies, my brother. It gets everywhere. You don't mess with the glitter. Don't mess with the glitter. They were not designed by Bob Mackey. It's the VD of art. It is. I'll come home and my wife's like, "Did you go to a strip club? You've got glitter on your face." No, I was in kindergarten for 30 minutes. Bob Mackey did not make those. The fact that the uniforms come in 2 pieces and Danny put it on backwards.
We broke Chet.
I can't breathe.
I'm not doing stand-up, but it is stand-up. Professor X was just watching them. He was just watching them change.
That's funny as hell. That's my funny answer right there.
All right, there it is.
That's
Old
his
Wolf.
line.
That's Old Wolf. That Tony, that is your first victory on the chat
I'm
here.
still laughing at John's glitter at the
That
turkey.
comment should be on a t-shirt. There you go. All right. All right. We'll go back to Justin for the third question of the night. We're almost at 2 hours. We're going to get under that limit. I can already tell.
It's always a good night
That's hilarious.
when we break chat. All right, my second question of the night, third overall. During the battle, during the battle in the end, Danny stopped Sam by showing him his greatest fear. What was Sam's greatest fear? What was it that we saw in pink? Because that was part of like her ability of how she had kind of shown it. What was his greatest fear? Displayed.
I love this question because it opens the door for comedy.
Oh,
like
yeah,
nobody's business.
Such a layup.
It's
And
a layup for comedy.
I'll take a certain, certain phrasings. I'm looking for certain keywords. So
yeah, the first
your
5 answers are all in one level or another correct. So I'm going to ask you which 2 get the point.
Oh yeah, okay. You know what? These are all fair. So I'm gonna.
I got this one as first.
I have Tony and then Joel.
Okay, so let me go. Tony gets his second point.
Yeah.
Joel the geek
Trapped
gets
in a
his
cave.
first point. I love it. Joel, my guy, gets a point, and he said trapped in a cave.
Yeah,
because that's
man.
technically accurate.
Conlon, you were like seconds off, man. Sorry.
Man, it was right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Lasso.
We saw him survive a coal mine collapse.
Yep.
And
I remember that.
rescue a friend. I mean, that's very scary. Adam says he was trapped in a drive-through.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll tell you, sometimes that in and out drive-through can be
a nightmare
around the block. I'm waiting a long time.
What a nightmare.
Lila Cheney ghosted him, and
We're not that far in yet.
That's painful heartbreak moment. His greatest fear is that Professor X would stop watching. That's scary. That's scary. What does that say when he's not watching you anymore? Lasso says finding out that Kentucky Fried Chicken wasn't made in Kentucky. Shenanigans.
I've been lied to my whole life.
The greatest fear is bubble wrap. He hates it.
It's
The
fun.
Bears didn't make the spread. It's a hard day for Chicago these days. I guess.
Brutal.
I guessed because I just know that character, says Joel. There he goes. He just guessed it. His girl's complaining. Why he's so quick? Why he's so quick? Lila Cheney again. Being and changing after swimming. # shrinkage. Lastly, we got Devo's working in a coal mine going down.
Jackson Roy Kirk.
Oh, Jackson
Locked
with
in.
his 4th point for the night. Last question. We've got 3 minutes left. I'm going to say
Go.
at one point, Xavier at the very end of the graphic novel number 4, he stares wistfully at something. What is Xavier looking at with sort of longing, wistful glance? What is he staring at the end of the graphic novel number 4? Chat, you can't answer.
Please.
9. The German in me says 9. You cannot answer this question.
My kingdom for a point from the chair.
Control yourself. You are not allowed to answer. All right.
Damn it.
So what is he staring at? And Lasso, correct answer. The previous 2 teams framed photographs of the original and new teams, right? Which is also said by Old Wolf right here.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 correct answers. But
There's some good funny comedy answers.
we've only got 4 already.
Dynasty.
I mean, I stare wistfully, so no shame in that game. I get it. A Lilandra sandwich. I'm assuming you mean literally a sandwich, not some other sandwich. The honeymoon photos of Scott.
We have a winner. That's the winner right there.
To see anything else.
That closes this
Bobby
episode of Jeopardy.
Ghetto. Not
He's
only
still looking at those
callback to
honeymoon
previous
pictures.
seasons, but yikes, funny.
What issue was that? 146 or 140?
I don't even know. It's like right after Secret Wars when he falls back to Earth, right?
They're like 183.
Well, right before Secret Wars, right before they go off to Secret Wars.
Okay.
He's
It was
on
like
his
the
honeymoon.
183-ish,
Oh my
right
God.
around there.
This answer's
170-ish.
So
We
good.
That's
got
funny.
New Mutants welcoming Sam, half outfit Moonstar, Diana Ross's Eaten Alive album cover,
Nice.
That's
a
an old one.
Georgia O'Keeffe painting, which I mean we've all been there.
Nice.
But looks like the entire chat is loving
Blowing
Bobby.
Yeah, and that's the winner.
So congrats to Bobby. I am
Nice.
2 hours and
Nice.
15 seconds. We're
Woo.
just over these
You did
double
great.
episodes.
You did
Again,
great.
the links for these amazing gentlemen are all down below. So please be subscribed. Please be ready. But we
Yes.
are done. We will be back in a week over on No Good Comics YouTube channel to get the next episode. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll catch you all again soon.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Peace.